Hello, Taurus. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Taurus is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Taurus, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got a Princess of Swords. Princess of Swords kind of is, well, it's an energy that's trying to find out why. Trying to ask, asking the questions, trying to learn, very curious, wants to investigate. Also, in some ways, might be a little bit resistant to the answer, too, right? Sometimes this is a card that says we're going back to white belt. We're realizing that we don't know, and we have to figure it out. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we need some more information. I like the idea of going back to white belt, right? Because it implies that there's something in us that feels we shouldn't, or that we don't need to, or we shouldn't have to, okay? So I wonder if you're in a position right now where you are sort of starting something over again, that you're trying to build something from the ground up, you're trying to rebuild something. We're trying to understand perhaps what went wrong and what do I need to do to make something grow better. Now, this time around, it's kind of like the garden failed last year. Well, what did I do wrong? Mixed the different kind of plants together. They didn't like each other and it didn't work, or put it in the wrong spot in the yard or something like that, right? Didn't water it enough. So let's take a look at this card and see what's going on. Let's, context, right? Context is everything. We got the Ace of Cups. Oh, yeah. I think there's an opportunity for us to shift our perspective here. Okay, we've got hope still. We've still got the wish. Everything I feel has been broken down to a very basic Ace of Cups. This is it. How does it go? How does it expand from here? Okay. So in all of our investigation, we're finding that, hey, we really do truly love something. And we have now a Prince of Swords, a Nine of Cups, and a Prince of Cups. Okay, Prince of Sword, Prince of Cups, water and air, thinking and feeling. And this is, of course, thinking and feeling too, but this is kind of like starting from white belt again, right? Starting over, starting from scratch. In the future, we got the Four of Swords. On this side, we've got the Eight of Cups, Five of Pentacles, yeah. Got a Seven of Swords, yeah, and a Seven of Cups. So it's challenging, right? It's challenging. It could be that we are, the Princess of Swords might be blaming ourselves, blaming other people, right? For something that's already happened. For the fact that our Nine of Cups seems to be in the background here. It seems to be the recent past. Okay? So it could be that something has upset your happy life. Okay? Let's select a mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card. Whoa. That wasn't random. This is an Ace of Pentacles, right? An Ace of Pentacles to go with our Ace of Cups. And you know what? I think that is beautiful. I think that is a gift, right? Let's select the mystery card. We'll set it right here. We'll put Tiny Bob Ross right on top. We're not going to look at that card till the end. Okay? It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for that card, put it in the comments. Okay? Looking around the room, the one thing I notice is that there is not a single major arcana card here at all. It doesn't mean that Spirit is not here. We may be feeling like that. Spirit is the table. Spirit is supporting you. Spirit is saying that, look, everything that's going on right now, you have the power to change it. You have the power to do it again, to rebuild. Your dream will come true. This is your dream. This is it coming true. An ace to an ace. We have to get back down to the root, the source, the core of this dream, and we've got to start building it again. We got to take the first step. Maybe the Nine of Cups is in the background position because we have we thought we were getting close, or we have this wish, right? This is a wish fulfilled. This is kind of saying my dream was coming true. I feel like my dream was in the process of manifesting, right? This is the dream that keeps on dreaming. So why are we here with the Princess of Swords and the Ace? I wonder, sometimes it feels this way to me, that the aces are not so much a beginning, but I wonder if the aces are the ending. I wonder if in this case, the aces are like the summit of the mountain, you know? And I wonder if the energy is not saying like, oh, it didn't work, you got to rebuild. You got to start over from scratch. No, I wonder if the realization here, I think, is the realization is you're a lot closer to success than you think. Don't give up on anything. Get back down to the real core. Get back down to that deepest feeling and take this final push to get to the summit of the mountain, right? The Ace of Pentacles is the summit of the mountain. And that would make sense. If you've got a Nine of Cups, well, then you got the Ace where you have a 10. It could be that you are very, very close to manifesting the result, to getting to the goal, the top of the mountain, for this dream to really come true. It's kind of like the last piece of the puzzle, okay, is about to be added. It's the capstone. It's the capstone. Okay, but as I can see from the path of the serpent, that you're kind of feeling as if you're stuck. You're feeling as if this was a failure. You're worried about it. There's kind of it feels like all of your hope, like even with the Eight of Cups, it feels like all the colors draining from your face. Right? We've gone pale because we just feel like we've lost, and it's I don't know. It's just like an intense fear, right? So it may feel as if things did not work out and you have to start again, but I wonder if the message is that you're a lot closer than you think. Okay? There kind of is like this sense of grief or like mourning over a perceived loss. Okay? Over a perceived loss, but I feel as if we get back to the very core, the purpose, that heart of the matter, right? And we realize that this was not, if we stay steadfast, if we stay fixed on the present moment, we can get that last piece of the puzzle. Okay? So I feel like the perceived loss, and maybe it's saying like, oh, we got so close, but we didn't get it. I feel like you're sort of looking back at that, and you're in that kind of grief, right, over what you perceive as a failure or perceive as a loss. But I wonder if you're kind of realizing that it's a lot more near than you think. So we don't have any major arcana. I think Spirit's trying to support you and see kind of what you're going to do. Spirit's trying to acknowledge that you have the control, you have the power over this right now. Okay? So we don't have any fire energy either, because I feel like we're feeling kind of cold and stuck right now. With these cards, I feel that there's a rather cold and stiff feeling that I'm getting. Okay. And, well, we've got water and water and water and water and water. A lot of water. We got air and air and air and air. A lot of air, a lot of water. But we've got the earth energies. And what do you get if you put an ace next to a 5 of Pentacles? You get a 6 of Pentacles. You get the win. You get the success. And we have an Ace of Cups to say, we don't just have the dream that in the past. No, it's kind of like the final piece of the puzzle is here, and the dream is coming true. So we're in essence, we're realizing the final step we have to take to give us the 10 of Cups and the 6 of Pentacles, to give us the success and the fulfillment of the 10 of Cups. Yeah, but you've got a lot of resistance in your heart and mind right now. And I think even with the, especially with the Princess of Swords, there's this kind of questioning, like, and this blame and questioning, and like, what did I do wrong? I can't believe this, you know, that I came this far and it didn't work. Or I feel like there's been some kind of a setback. There's some kind of an emotional disappointment or a feeling of regret, and this is you kind of trying to get to the bottom of it, trying to find out what I did wrong. Right, so I think that we're blaming ourselves a lot here. That maybe we are, maybe we're, I don't know, getting down on ourselves about a missed opportunity or a perceived missed opportunity, rather than asking the right question, which is, what is the path that is opened up here? What is the thing that, you know, how is this a blessing, rather than, you know, we've got the 7 and the 8. Okay, so if we can maybe see how this is a new path that's opening up that will lead to our success and fulfillment. It could be that, you know, that you feel like you've taken a wrong turn. Okay. And what we could be talking about too is like, you know, it's kind of like we have a breakup, right? Maybe we have this happy life, and then something has happened, and we feel like we're kind of back to square one, that we have to start over again. Maybe we're focused on the person that left, rather than acknowledging, like, well, one, the friends that support us, but then also acknowledging that, well, now I'm able to meet the person I'm supposed to be with, and I'm going to have that success. So it's not exactly that the path you're on is going to lead you to fulfillment. There could have been an unexpected fork in the road, an unexpected roadblock, and we're taking a detour, and we're just kind of like, I don't understand. I don't want to take the detour. I was supposed to go forward and get there this way. Maybe we're supposed to realize through experience, Spirit's not just telling you the information, we're meant to realize through experience that the detour is really where your path is supposed to be. So the Ace of Cups could be that, you know, let's not focus on what is behind us. Let's look at what is right here, right now, and acknowledge what's happening in the present moment. Let's stay focused on the here and now. The princes are always focused on the present. The princess should be focused on the present, but is busy right now, I think, looking at the past, trying to understand what went wrong here. Why was my path, why was there a detour? Why was the road blocked? Okay, maybe the Princess of Swords is involved in the practice of letting go of what was the expected sort of pathway, right? We could be releasing some kind of grief or sorrow. It could be an effort of forgiveness, releasing blame. Maybe we're doing this through a ritual. Maybe we're writing a letter to somebody. Maybe we're going through a meditation. Maybe we're journaling about it or something like this. But I think we're trying to let go of the 9 of Cups that was yesterday's energy. And we're trying to acknowledge that, okay, you know what? In this moment right now, I have this ace. And this ace is going to lead me to that ultimate fulfillment and satisfaction. This is a detour. Okay? A detour's okay. In fact, the detour is usually a lot more fun than the well-trodden path. Okay? You've got your fixed energies above you and beneath you here, especially the Prince of Swords here. This is a fixed mind. Right? This is a mind that kind of, you know, it feels like I don't need to learn anything new. I don't need to change my mind. I'm fixed, very rigid, right? Very fixed in the path that I thought was there. This was the happiness here, and this is, if I don't have this, my Princess of Swords is going to turn around and try to figure out why and try to get this back, because this is the only thing that we believed was meant for us. We felt like this was the only thing to make us happy. Okay? So there is this need for us to be more flexible in our mind here and acknowledge that, okay, there's more than one pathway to get to that kind of goal. To have that kind of happiness and fulfillment, there's a detour, and I've got no choice but to take I've got to be flexible. This is somebody who has a fixed thought in their mind. There's one thing and there's one path, there's one person, etc. There's one job for me. And sometimes we have a hard time dealing with that cognitive dissonance where it's like, this was my one path, my one love, my one person, my one purpose. But now if the roadblock is, and I'm on this detour, I can't reconcile that because this was supposed to be the one. Yeah. This was supposed to be the thing. So sometimes we avoid healing because we're clinging to that past and thinking, no, this has to be it. This has to be it. There is no other possibility. Well, Spirit's saying, no, there's kind of a different road. It's not a different path necessarily. It's just a detour on your path, which, that is your path, right? But our mind, and I think our heart as well, because we have a fixed water and a fixed air, that you're trying to navigate this new situation, right? While your heart and your mind are still saying, well, wait a minute, I don't understand. I'm kind of in, the Princess of Swords with the cognitive dissonance is saying, I don't understand because this was supposed to be the one. Your heart, this was the one for me. Your mind, this was the one for me. Okay. Well, yes, there is still the one, right? But it wasn't this one, That path took you so far, and now there was a fork in the road. Now there's a little bit of a detour. Your path is a long and winding road, and we don't always know where it's leading, and what surprises are gonna meet us along the way. Okay, but I think that once we recognize this and we see the path that's opening up before us. Because the roadblock is a roadblock, and why is there a roadblock? I don't understand. We have to see that there's a detour. It means we have to go around this way. And once we start doing that, then I think we're going to get the success. We're going to get the fulfillment. We're going to get our 10 of Cups. We're going to get our 6 of Pentacles. We have to let go of the past failures. I don't want to call them the failure. We have to let go of the past in order to make room for the possibilities that are right in front of us right now. And I think a tendency to dwell on the past, maybe this was, you got your hopes up and it didn't work out. Something was blocking this from fulfillment. This seemed like it was a wish that was almost there, and then something happened, okay? That prevents us from trusting the detour. That prevents us from trusting people, trusting ourselves. It kind of feels like I can't trust myself because, well, I thought this was the one, and it obviously wasn't. So now, if the Prince of Swords represents a little bit of self-trust, it's sort of, we're pushing it down. We're saying, I can't trust myself anymore, and then the Princess of Swords doesn't know what to do. Okay. We may be able to show some gratitude for what this was, appreciate what our experience was here, and learn to trust ourselves again, learn that, the things that we're feeling are okay. We don't have to get rid of our feelings here. The Prince of Cups is someone who's trying to just be authentic. This is someone who can be emotionally resilient. Okay, we're trying to go for a balance here. We're trying to balance our heart and mind. And, that's what we've got, right? Heart and mind. Even in the middle right here, we have heart and mind. And in the future and past, we have heart and mind as well. Okay, so on the path of the dove, your energy is very balanced. So I think that you are realizing how you feel. You're understanding that you can't be so rigid in your expectations. We need to be flexible. We need to be open to new pathways. And we need to find a little bit of trust in the way forward. We can't dwell on the past because that'll prevent us from trusting in the future here. Okay? If we're constantly revisiting this past happiness, or what we perceived as being a wish that was coming true, a dream that was just about to manifest, if we keep revisiting the past, then we're going to end up feeling kind of incapable of moving forward. Okay? There's a difficulty in letting go of the past or of what might have been. But affirming, right? We can affirm that we have space now for renewal and transformation. There's a tendency to focus on what is missing rather than what remains. Okay? And we certainly don't want to sabotage our future happiness by validating any kind of belief in our unworthiness or in our failure or in our faults, right? We don't want to blame ourselves, and then we end up feeling as if this was my one shot and I don't have it right now, because then you know what? We're going to fail to recognize this blessing that's right here. We're going to think, you know what? I had my shot. Now, do you publish a poetry book or something, or you write poetry? I feel like you've got a book of your own words there, right? So I feel like you are a writer. You do like to do that. You express yourself that way, and I think that's going to be very important for you. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. We've got the 8 of Cups. If you haven't subscribed, please do. The readings are totally free. The 8 of Cups it's kind of that feeling where it's like, oh, I'm not happy yet, but I'm not feeling as bad as I was. To me, this is kind of a card that says I'm starting to heal. It's like I feel like I'm sitting on my bed, I'm journaling, I'm still, I still got the box of tissues next to me, and I'm not feeling all that great yet. I'm not ready to go out and conquer the world, but I feel like I'm getting better. It's kind of like when you're sick, but you're not in the worst of it, and you're just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I'm getting better. I still got the sniffles, and I still don't feel that great, so I'm relaxing still, I'm resting, but I feel I'm going in the right direction, right? Basically what I feel here. This is also a card that's talking about the balance of heart and mind too, because this is the glass half empty or the glass half full. Either way, it's half, right? What's in the other half but air. So I feel like we're trying to talk and communicate with our emotions. We're trying to say, okay, I know how I feel. I know I got my hopes up. I know what I want. I know what I wanted. And for a while I felt as if that one didn't work out, then I would never have it. I'm starting to realize that I can have it, I will have it. This isn't the end of my journey. In fact, this was probably a blessing in disguise. This is probably Spirit diverting me away from something that was going to end badly anyway. So we can choose to look at it. It's all about how we choose to look at things. We can look at it and say, I'm cursed. I had my one shot at happiness and I blew it. I'm a failure and I'm never going to find it again. I'm never going to have anything good in my life and I'm just being punished. Or we can choose to look at it the other way and say, everything happens for a reason. It's nobody's fault. It just didn't work out. It's not the end of my story. My life is going to continue on. I will find love and success and happiness. I deserve it. I'm worthy of it. And there's a good chance that Spirit was diverting me from something that would have been sort of not so good for me, right? Then we've got that 7 of Cups at the end there. So I think the 8 of Cups is a good sign. To me, that feels like things are getting better. We're realizing now, we're accepting the reality of something so that we can start healing from it. We're not trying to deny. We're not getting defensive against it. We're not trying to somehow make it not happen or to undo something that's already happened. The 4 of Swords here is the acceptance. The 4 of Swords is saying, okay, it happened. And now that I acknowledge it happened, and I can try to trust in the universe and in the divine that things are going to happen for me, and this isn't a punishment, this isn't because I don't deserve good things. we can start to sort of recover. We can start to have that dialogue with ourselves. We can do the ritual. We can do the journaling. We can talk, whatever it is that we need to do. We can write the letter, and we can start the process of healing. Okay? And then once we start that a little bit, well, then it's kind of like we can get up and we can start doing things again. When you're sick and you're in bed, you're resting, you're healing. Once you feel up to it, well, then we can get out of bed and we can kind of, we can start doing a few light activities, And so this Five of Pentacles is us in the environment, in our relationships, and we're sort of putting things back together. It's like, I kind of feel like we're picking up the pieces. Very often this is, all of the fives really are telling us that we have to look at it. We can't ignore the reality. I always use the analogy of like you stub your toe. You hit your toe on the bed frame or something, right? Those metal bed frames, oh gosh. And your toe hurts. It's throbbing. But you don't want to look at it. Well, eventually we have to look at it. Maybe we just close our eyes until the pain subsides a little bit. We calm down a little bit, and then we say, okay, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to see what needs to be done, and I'm going to patch it up. I'm going to put the Band-Aid on it, But while it really, really hurts so bad, we don't want to look at it. What I do is I just kind of squeeze it with my hand, right? I don't look at it, I just squeeze it. And once I calm down, I kind of like take my hand away and I say, okay, let's see what the damage is. Let's see what needs to be done here. Okay? And then we're sort of, we're putting the pieces back together and we're making sure things are okay. Eventually we do have to rebuild. Okay? But like I said earlier, it feels as if you're a lot closer to the real success and fulfillment that you want. I feel like you're one step away, but we're still lamenting the past there that didn't quite work out. But I feel like the outcome you want is really very, very close. And I don't know if this is in terms of a relationship or a job thing, a career thing, something financial. It's a family thing. It could be, love, romance, whatever. I feel as if our fixation on the past is preventing us from seeing the blessing that's right under our nose right now. That is going to be greater than what we feel we've lost. Okay. Sometimes with the fives, we're so busy looking at what's not here, right? Because the Five of Pentacles basically is saying, there should be more money here, but there's not. So something's missing, right? The Five of Cups even would be, I should feel some kind of way, but I don't. So it's a disappointment. It's where something should be here, but it's not here. And so we're so busy focused on what we're missing that we don't realize what we have and how to employ what we have to sort of get what we want, right? And get what we need and to mobilize, to leverage what we do have rather than just kind of lamenting and regretting and blaming, this idea that we're missing something, okay? So this is talking about your manifestation, and I don't know what your goals are, but I feel like the solution is a lot closer than you think. And we have to, the sooner we can acknowledge how we feel and start to process how we feel, the sooner we can get back to the work at hand, whatever it might be, in order to make this dream come true. Okay. The Seven of Swords is in the position of what we don't want. And the Seven of Swords is kind of a negative internal dialogue. We don't want to feel as if we are attacking ourselves. We certainly don't want to blame ourselves. This is a card that is, trying to go forward with clarity and truth, but keeps meeting with resistance. And usually this is an internal critic. This is us being not so nice to ourselves and kind of, beating ourselves up, saying, I'm not worth it, I don't deserve it, Spirit must not want me to be happy, I guess I wasn't born to be happy or have a good life or get anything good in life, and blah, 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 blah. We don't want to do that. We don't want to be so overly critical of ourselves. We don't want to blame ourselves. We have to accept things as they are. Maybe there is nobody to blame. Maybe something just didn't happen the way we thought it was going to happen. Doesn't mean it's not going to. It just may not look the way we thought it was going to look. Okay? And we certainly don't want to unconsciously sabotage our happiness either. Okay? Because this is a card that is sometimes we're meeting with this resistance and we don't understand where it's coming from. Well, sometimes it's coming from our very own complexes, unconscious complexes and shadow side. We could be unconsciously sabotaging our own happiness in an effort to protect us from kind of the heartbreak, right? And in this case, I kind of wonder too, if there was something inside of you that did sabotage this, right? Because you intuitively knew that it wasn't the right path for you. Maybe we set up our own roadblock to something because we had some red flags. We had some sort of intuitive knowing that that wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be. And so we set up the roadblock so we'd have to take a detour. Well, that's our unconscious kind of acting on our behalf, right? And our unconscious complexes, they don't mean us any harm. They're not bad. They're not evil. They're there to protect us. Sometimes they're protecting us from something that really is a swamp, right? It's that gut feeling. It's that intuition. It's that psychological complex that sort of says, we can't let this happen. We've got to do something, right? The conscious mind is steering us in a direction that's dangerous. So we've got to grab the wheel or something, or I don't know what, take the spark plug out or something. And we always think of those complexes as being kind of negative, detrimental self-sabotage, right? Preventing me from getting what I want. But sometimes those complexes are very helpful. It's the complex that sort of prevents us from touching a hot stove, And sometimes we may feel as if we are sabotaging ourselves, but what if it really is this divine intuitive energy inside of us that is trying to get us to avoid the swamp, the toxic relationship? Maybe this was something we thought we wanted, and our conscious mind is doing everything we can to get that, but spirit, unconscious, your soul under the surface is interfering with that and sabotaging you. And then the conscious mind says, I keep sabotaging myself from getting what I want. I keep doing stupid things, and I guess I just don't want to be happy, right? And maybe this really is Spirit's subtle way of keeping you from getting into some worse situation. Okay, the Seven of Cups is an illusion. It's something that we may see and think, wow, that's beautiful. I'm going to go get that. And then, we get it and it's toxic. Or something prevents us from getting there. We end up tripping over our own feet or something, right? It's because there's something inside of us that knows this is not what it looks like. Okay? The Seven of Cups in a lot of other tarot packs is really a good-looking card. You'll see it and you'll say, wow, that's what I want. But the Thoth Tarot shows us what it really is. It's a swamp. It's toxic. It's not the oasis. Maybe we thought it was the oasis. It's not. Yeah. So I think that we're being redirected by our own instinct, our own gut. Yeah. Let's look at the mystery card. Maybe fire, maybe a major arcana energy. We don't have either. We have air. We've got air and water and a little bit of earth. Okay? This is all about how you're thinking and feeling about the reality of your uncertain, unstable situation. The Five of Pentacles. This is the earth energy we have. We weren't really expecting the Ace, right? But right now we've got a Five of Pentacles. It feels like life is in disarray. It feels like everything has been shaken. Everything's been turned upside down. And I don't like it. And it feels like I was so close to being happy and now I'm not there anymore. And this sucks. And this is how we think and feel. Okay? But the subtlety here is that Spirit's giving you the blessing in disguise here, that you're avoiding a really big mistake, a really big misstep. You're going to avoid the swamp. Consciously, maybe we thought it was the oasis, right? Let's see, maybe this will be the real oasis. Maybe it'll be the Empress energy. Yeah. Maybe it'll be the Ten of Cups. Maybe it'll be some fire. Maybe it'll be the High Priestess. Let's see what we have. The Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is, it's a fire energy at least. And I think that this is when we start to feel better, when we start to recover and we're starting to heal, we're getting some of our strength back. And we're kind of like, maybe we're recognizing that, yeah, okay, this was a swamp, so I'm glad that's done. I'm glad that I didn't, thinking it was the oasis, I'm glad I didn't stumble into that and start guzzling down that water, right, which was really sand, like in the cartoons. Being really glad that we did that got that behind us, and maybe this is that energy that's getting motivated and getting fired up again. To say, wow, okay, like I recognize now why I had to go through that. And that's giving you this confidence that you can trust yourself. I can trust spirit. I can trust my instinct and my gut. And that we have to, we kind of have to polish our wand and get ready to do it again, get ready to keep going, right? The Princess of Swords is intellectually trying to understand something, right? The Page of Wands, this is a knight in training, right? The page is a squire, is a knight in training, right? It's trying to get really, really good at using that intuition and that instinct and that willpower to move forward. And I think that this is us kind of like getting back in the saddle. This is us, in a way, getting back on the horse, getting back to trusting ourselves, getting back to kind of trying again. Yeah. We got dressed, and we're getting ready to set out on the journey. And we're feeling pretty pumped up about it. So I feel like this is a really good card. Still no major arcana, because I think Spirit wants you to recognize that this energy is in you, and that you are in control of your perception, you are in control of your actions and your thoughts and your feelings. I think this is a very good confirmation. Now, we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Taurus on Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed, please do. The readings are free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.